Is it big news or is it absolutely nothing? We're here to discuss I said an announcement when we were doing the prep for this episode, and I was shot down and told it's not an announcement. But
Some might call it that.
we're here to talk about a post that personally I think is really important that came from the Instagram of Saiki, of BAND MAID, obviously. And to be honest, I think this is something, well, I think it points towards a shift in the attitude, or at least a clarifying of the attitude of the band towards a very important issue that's important to a lot of our hearts. And I think a lot of us were just waiting for a word on this, which is basically Bandmaid's attitude towards world domination. Now we know that they love the world and we love them back. But there's been a
Well, at
lot of
least they are
murmurings.
saying it.
Well, there's been a lot of murmurings, and this channel has been. We've done a couple of videos. We did one back in 2003, another one at the beginning of this year, where we were talking about, okay, where's the news? What's happening? What's the future in regards to touring and going out to the world? Now, there's a lot of things that I broke. I did a video about this, which I just put out on my channel a little bit earlier, going into all the details. So rather than me diving in straight away, I wanted to get you guys including Benedict, who's made his feelings very clear on his name tag at the bottom there. I want to get you guys to tell me, do you think there's anything worth noting in this announcement, or am I going to have to fight my case, or is anything about this announcement, or should I say, sorry, post, got you excited
Thank you.
at all? Or is the cynicism too baked
Well,
in now to you,
first of all, I have
Benedict?
to say, like, when you posted this and I read like the first line, I was like, oh shit, is like Psyche leaving Bandmaid or what is going on? It sounded like it started off very, I don't know, I had a feeling of something negative is gonna happen.
Yeah, that first
Yeah,
line does not sit well. And we've all read that first line from many bands down the years and gone, oh fuck.
thanks for
Yeah,
supporting Bandmaid. I'm out.
sounded like some kind of departure, but maybe that's what you are alluding to, Howard, that they
This
will
this popped up in my
start anew.
Discord, and I must admit I read the first line and I was shitting myself a little bit as well. I was like
I mean,
speed reading the rest of
yeah,
it.
It would
been
have been
kind of
fucking
already
hilarious though.
established.
There's a
Yeah, Neon, I'm
subscriber.
interested about your thoughts. What did you think about it?
Oh, I said it
Benedict's
would
not
have
even
been.
going to talk on this one.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been fucking hilarious though, because I got a guy who's just got a tattoo of Psyche on his arm. So imagine that
Uh,
Good
was
shit.
I know
That will
Jan's
suck.
got he's got psyches on
Mm.
each arm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
no,
I
that
know.
would have been
Yeah.
so funny. I mean, not for him, but it would have been funny for everybody else. Um, I, I, I mean,
Okay.
there's an on,
Imagine all the Yui tattoo boys.
yeah, there's an on-running gag in my Discord that as soon as I go to Japan, like bandmates will travel around the world, and it's looking that way. I mean, this is nothing official, but
I think yeah, I
in
don't
the
think it's gonna
way
happen
that
this
it's
year.
worded, it's definitely one of those I know something you don't know kind of posts. Um, and I think it's just the wording where it says, look, we read your comments, I know, world domination. It's very highlighted in specific ways that I look at this and I go, right, okay, after reading the whole thing, my first thought in my head is all right, so a world tour is coming then. It has to at some point. And I think that's generally what they're hinting at. I think for all the people that have probably been on their YouTube videos saying "Where's Europe" for the past 3 years, and every YouTube video that's been out in the last like 3 years, I think they
Yeah.
finally got the hint. So
But
Well, I mean,
that's kind of the positive I see about this as well, that I feel after reading this post, yes, okay, they really know about the fans, that they really want them to come
so
to Europe or whatever country they didn't went to the last
so
time.
you do get the thing I'm excited about. You just see it very differently because
Yes, yes,
for me,
sure. I
it's
get
a
that
statement of
point, but
intent.
still, I don't feel like, it isn't an actual world tour announcement or any
No,
actual
but I mean,
announcement isn't in here. I mean,
no,
they
but I
say they
mean,
will definitely go, but when, where, in what
yeah,
capacity?
but the point is more that I feel for a lot of fans, there was more this case of, okay, we just kind of want to hear something, like some sort of idea of, okay, is it on the cards? Is it something that's been thought out? And so for me, what this was, it was very much like a statement saying, yeah, we know. We know. Don't worry. We know. It's because I mean that's the thing. Is a lot of people have come up with all these sort of theories, and yet some people would say it was the managers or it was Pony Canyon, and of course we never know these things. And people were throwing around all kinds of theories. And I think all we just really wanted to hear was like someone saying, "Yeah, we know. We're working on it." And that's sometimes just hearing we're working on it, that is a big enough announcement. And for me, she doesn't say Europe in here. I'm actually kind of intrigued because in that, I think it's the fourth to last paragraph. Um, so the fifth paragraph, it's two sentences. And I love these two sentences because, okay, there might be a degree of translating from English, but I think she makes two brilliant points. We'll definitely go.
Oh,
Hello? I
no,
think
he definitely
Howard
went.
Surely bring our sons
he
those.
definitely went away. Okay, now you're back.
Eh?
Hello,
Now
Howard.
you're back.
Eh?
You
What did
started
you?
reading the paragraph and then you were gone.
Oh, okay. So it says we'll definitely go to everyone around the world again, which for me that feels like very much like she's talking about
World
you know,
tour.
well, not more specifically, like obviously America, but places like Europe as well. So seeing those fans who've been waiting on a long time.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
then the second sentence, we will surely bring our sound to those who have not we've not yet met. I mean, that could just mean new people in familiar places, but it could also mean new places. I had someone in the comments on my video who was like, "Oh, I want them to come to Malaysia and things like that." I'm thinking, yeah, these kind of like Asian countries as well. And I don't know, I don't think they've ever been to Australia was one I was thinking about. There's all kinds of new places they could go, but it's the fact that the world domination thing feels like that's gone from just kind of being a mantra that was getting a little bit like, really? Everyone else is going to the world, you're not. And now it actually feels like, okay, we are taking that seriously again. And that's the thing. I feel like that reinstating of world domination as the central mantra is
You know,
important.
yes, I get that, and I totally agree with everything you said. But to me, it's just them not including any specifics in here kind of makes me think, well, it's just kind of a statement to let people know, yeah, we're still thinking about you, but they don't seem to have actual plans yet, because otherwise they would have said, we will see you next year or whatever.
I guess that's
But
fair. Yeah.
nothing really solid in here. That's kind of what I don't like
Do you,
about it.
do you know that? Do you know that feeling when you're out with some friends, you're having a really good drink, and you're all just chatting, having a laugh, and everything's great, and then someone comes in and reminds you that your electricity bill's overdue. Yeah.
That's better than.
Well,
So,
So, I mean, shat on my parade there.
imagine she comes out with this statement, and then again they announce another tour for America. And, Jesus
yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my
it could happen. That's
God.
why
Oh,
I'm carefully
turns out my gas bill's overdue as
hesitant.
well.
Mm.
I think I just, I read too many, whatever, I don't know, region be it, but I read so many public statements, which in like 90% of the time just were complete lies and bullshit. That's why I'm always, when I'm reading like some statement like this, which doesn't include any actual facts, I'm like kind of, okay, yeah,
In all fairness, though,
let me know again when you have actual
you're
facts.
you're not specifically talking about BandMaid there. You're just talking about
No,
generally
no, just
announcements
in
you see from
general. But
bands.
that's
Yeah,
maybe why
yeah.
I'm so careful about this announcement.
Well,
Because
I
it's like
mean,
Neon said, they could just announce the next US tour next year or whatever.
okay, all right. Well, I mean,
And that was
I
I
don't.
was joking.
I don't
Like,
say I
But
believe that, but it.
but hold on. All right. So I accept your point there, and like I say, I mean, look, if it was a politician or something, then obviously I would look at this a very different way. My point is
they're
though,
worse than musicians.
yeah. Well,
I
that
just
if
don't
they
have
will,
any trust in anyone anymore.
you know,
That's
um,
the problem.
geez, it's turned from a fucking podcast into a therapy session. All right. So, all right. So I think my point is here, and I don't know. I think this is in very much in the way it was worded because I agree. I mean, like I've heard people have mentioned that there was some interview or something. I didn't see it, but it was sort of mentioned that how BandMaid had talked about how they liked Europe and stuff like that in some interview they did recently, and they said a lot of positive things about Europe and this kind of thing. The reason why I feel this one is different is it is because of reading between the lines. It is because of the fact that, the whole wording is, look, we've listened to what you have said and we are thinking about it. And then she very specifically talks about getting out there into the world. She's talking about seeing new people. She's talking about world domination, not domination of the US. It's like they're very clearly talking about the world. They're talking about this. They're talking about the fact they've listened to the fans. I'm sure they've heard from fans on lots of different places. It just feels like this is one of those ones where, yeah, if they, off the back of this, then just went to the US and that was the only thing they did for the next year or two, I think most people would go,
Now it
okay,
would be a real slap in the face.
yeah, then we would be able to look at this and say, well, look, you just fucking lied because that's not what your statement says. So, I mean, basically, for them to not now be visiting other countries off the back of what Saiki's just said there would then actually have to kind of be, like you said, a slap in the face. It'd have to be a lie. Whereas up until this point, it's more just been a case of please say something we don't know what you're thinking. So I
Yes, I
do.
do appreciate that.
I
I
mean,
agree with
if
that.
we're going into like theory territory here as well, I mean, this could be like a ballsy power move from the band themselves because if you release this kind of statement, it kind of puts like whoever's doing all the crunching the numbers and all that upstairs and a little bit of pressure because now they kind of have to do it a
Well,
little bit.
the wording of the statement does seem to, I mean, obviously, this is the bit where we know much less, but I would say that if we were taking this on good faith, the wording of the statement does seem to suggest that this is a more of an organized thing. So it's like our dream of world domination is not over yet. In fact, this is the real beginning. Things like please stay with bandmaid, kind of like really saying that just hang on, that
Yeah,
that feeling there.
I don't think they'd release that or Saiki would release this if there wasn't something in the works. So I reckon in a couple of weeks, maybe not even that. I reckon we'll get something. We'll get some announcement for next year. I reckon.
I mean,
Maybe
I'd like to
maybe
think that this is where I'd be cynical like Benedict and say maybe it'll be a couple of months, but
yeah. I reckon it will. I mean, like I said, they're playing in Japan now. They'll probably I think they finish in Japan what end of August.
what
So
what possibly could make you think that they're playing in Japan this summer, Neon? Da, 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 da.
not to rub it in. I might be able to see them twice in like a space of a year if they eventually do.
Yeah.
Sorry, Benedict.
But
Um,
yeah, well, if they come to Europe, I can see
Hey,
them too.
excuse me. Can I just say, Benedict, why are you not going to be here for next week's recording again?
Because I will go to a baby metal show.
Yeah, okay. So don't feel too sorry for him, all right?
Yes, true.
Oh dear.
but
So as a general, so the excitement level on this one, I personally feel excited. Like I say, I know you get a lot of false starts and false hope, but I feel like this announcement feels very clear to me. I would say personally, I'm very excited. Benedict is waiting. He wants to hear something concrete. I get the feeling.
Careful. I would describe
Careful.
it as
I like
careful.
that. Okay, okay. Neon, how are you feeling?
I'm on the side of you to be honest. I feel like this is excitement for me. All doors kind of like lead to this. Timing wise, it makes sense. I think it's been too long now. I don't think she would put out this type of statement if there wasn't something in the works. And I just think it's a case of sitting back,
It,
relaxing, and just waiting for the announcement. Sort of the European fans or even world fans have been wanting. So.
but
Um,
so I had one question,
Hmm.
maybe for Howard, because you already touched or thought about that topic a little bit. And Neon, you kind of told us the reason already, maybe right now. Why do you think this comes now? Like, was there anything that sparked it? Do you just think there's something in the works right now, or like are they noticing they are losing fans because of things like "Please stay with bandmate"? You know?
I
I
wouldn't
would
say they're
I
losing fans. I think people
No,
are
no.
starting
I'm
to get
just wondering, like,
maybe.
what is the reason? Maybe
yeah, no,
it's coming now.
Benedict was spitballing potential ideas there.
Mm.
I mean, from my perspective, I would say that it's probably generally just they've accrued over. I don't think there's like one thing. Just over a while, they've started to accrue awareness of these kind of messages from their fans. I mean, the fact it only came from Saiki almost makes me feel like she's just been reading some fan mail today, and she's like,
It
"We
kind of
gotta
feels like they
tell them."
watched our East to the East videos.
I doubt that, but
I doubt that.
Me too, but
everything else,
still.
everything else. But who knows? But I feel like I genuinely feel like it comes across almost like there's a little bit of a oh shit, we actually almost just like it's more like a personal thing that maybe she in the background knows that it's something they're working towards, but she can see that everyone's wondering why haven't you said anything, and it feels just to me like if I were guessing, I would say she's just taken to her Instagram to say, look. I just want you guys to know we're thinking that this is not something that we've forgotten about. So I don't expect there to be a sudden announcement because I don't really, if it were my guess, I wouldn't think that there is a genuine impetus for this other than the fact that she's just done that thing we've all been doing and noticed it's been a while since we talked about this. That's the vibe I get. That's the vibe I get. But that's totally conjecture. But I mean, some people might say
Realization.
Yeah,
the
I think so as well. I want to touch on that, but also at the same
mm,
time, like I said, I mean, it's because I said before, I said it's becoming blatantly obvious if you look on any video on that BandMaid released in the last like 2 years of where the hell's bloody Europe BandMaid, you know. Um, the longer they've not done it, I think the more. I mean, we've done it on here now. Yeah, it's in as a running bit of a joke for a
what?
few laughs and the giggles to hide our internal pain. But still, like everybody else has noticed
It's a
as
coping
well.
mechanism.
Coping
Yeah.
mechanism, indeed. And everybody else has noticed now, and I think it is maybe. Yeah, I think Howard's probably right here, and probably she's probably looked at all the YouTube videos recently and probably seen all the comments. And as nice as they all are, there are a lot saying, "Look, where the hell are you in Europe or the rest of the world?" Um,
Come say hello.
yeah, and I do think again, I do think this is a spur of the moment sort of like tweet or whatever, but at the same time, I do think it's been carefully and thoroughly worded to a point that again, it's more of a we are thinking world domination, hint, hint, wink, wink. I can't say anything now, but and I definitely think it's in that kind of vein of messages, like an excited girlfriend that gets like their boyfriend a present but doesn't know how to like not spoil a surprise. It's kind of like that a little bit. She thinks she's excited as well.
I feel that's actually kind of a nice way of looking at it. I mean, again, we don't know that that's where it becomes real conjecture, but I do think it's interesting to think. I mean, why this announcement would have come about now? I would say though that honestly, one of the things I point out in this video that I released earlier on this is that I think there's always conjecture, and it's always so easy to say, oh, it's because of this or because of that. But I don't think, again, I don't think anyone's taken this personally. No one's like, oh, Bad Mate doesn't love their fans anymore. It's just been one of those cases of we just wanted someone to speak up and say something, and maybe that's why I'm taking this to. I mean, again, I do genuinely think she wouldn't put this out if there wasn't actually some plan that was at least being worked through. But to me, I think it's just such a relief. And again, I don't live in Europe, but I do speak all the time to like followers on Discord. I hear about people who are just like, oh, I can't afford to come to Japan. I just, and I've seen like Hana Beer, Love Bites, Bride Here, everyone's turning up, and it's like, come on, my favorite band, where are they? And I think there's
Yeah.
just a sense of relief that
Yeah.
I feel for those European fans, and I think they feel. And this is why, I mean, I said in my video, just thank you to Saiki for putting this out, because even if it's not an announcement, I think it just takes a lot of weight off of people who are just like, look, is this ever going to happen again? So I think it's a big relief for a lot of people, whether whether it's leading on to an announcement about them turning up for like one festival in 2 years from now or not. It's just the fact that it's on their mind
Yeah.
is nice.
It's the internet as well. I mean, the internet is impatient, as all three of us probably know doing what we do.
The internet waiting 5 years is pretty impressive for
To
the internet.
to be fair, to be
Say,
fair, yeah.
what was popular back in 2019 on the internet? I mean, fuck, we were still getting over bottle flipping and dabbing back in 2019. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Oh wow, you were really into all the trends. You remembered that,
Damn.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot those
So
things existed.
2019, Howard.
I
Jesus.
mean, fucking, no one had even heard of Skibbity Toilet back then. I mean,
Bloody hell.
last time they were in Europe, Newgrounds was a thing. No, I mean,
I mean, like I said, I hopefully. I mean, when does that tour finish? August again. Maybe there could be something in the works. As like maybe they'll finish off this tour with like a little announcement saying this is what BAND MAID's doing next
that's what we
year.
said. That's what we said last year with their last
Yeah, yeah,
tour.
as well. That's what we did say. But to be fair, they did announce something, but it was back in America, so much to all hard to say. Because we were joking about that, going, they can't go to America again.
Mm,
Surely
How
not.
far?
I think that's the tour before they
No,
announced that.
towards
I
the
think
tour before.
the last tour they didn't announce.
I mean, how far before the actual tour do they bands usually announce their tour or like put their tickets on sale?
I think it really depends on the size of the venues, how many tour dates they're doing, and yeah, whether they're headlining,
Okay.
all those kind of things. I would imagine that the world would get a good sort of at least 4 or 5 months notice of the tour beginning. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be in Europe this year, just to be clear on that. I think it's definitely going to be next year at the
No,
earliest.
next year, the earliest. Yeah, I agree.
But we just wanted to hear something.
I'll
And
be interested to know, like, if they do announce something and there is like a world tour. I'd be interested to know how they tackle that precisely. Because obviously
gleefully.
we say no, we say world tour, but obviously most bands from Asia, they typically tend to do Europe then America, and that seems to be the most of the
Then
trend.
maybe they will do multiple
I,
tours, like one
I
Europe tour and then
So I'm
later
wondering if they'll
one.
do like an Asia set
yeah,
portion, then a European portion, then maybe an American or South American portion as well.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with what you just said there, only because I think what you're saying is true from the perspective of, I mean, so when you ask most like European and American fans which bands they like, it'll usually be the bands who are visiting Europe and America, and so that's kind of the frame of reference. But actually, there's a lot of Asian bands who tour in Asia, in Asian countries. Turn up in places like Taiwan, Thailand, even Vietnam, places like Malaysia. These are popular destinations for a lot of Japanese bands and China as well,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
Um,
what I meant. So do
so
we reckon
I
there is
sus
going to be an Asian portion
I
touched onto this?
I would not be surprised. I mean, again, they could tour anywhere. And to be honest, if they tour anywhere they've never been before, that automatically is a win in my book.
Mm.
But I would say, like, I would like to see them doing an Asia tour. I'd like to see them getting more involved. Can I just say, actually, just a random point? This is just totally random. I was at a gig last night in a local live house with obviously Caramel Candid. Da, na, 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 na. But a couple of other bands who share the same producer as them were up there, and one of them was the band Submarine Orca Go. And I'm just chatting with Submarine Orca Go, and it turns out they were like, "Oh yeah, we did a show with Band Maid back in like I think it was 2019 or something in Yamaguchi." It's, "Oh yeah, we opened for them."
Yeah. Wow. Jesus.
It's just random when
Nice.
you're talking to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, we opened for Band Maid." Like, "Oh, okay, that was a bit of a surprise." So yeah, it's they've been touring popularly for a while, but that just really caught me off guard when I found it. So yeah, Submarine Orca Go. I never knew they opened for Band Maid, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah. So that's cool. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Nice.
anything else
Just
you want
wanted
to
to
add to this
say,
one? Yeah.
like, I would be totally fine if they would do, I don't know, South America or Asia tour first, but just something else than US.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think some like US fans take it a little bit like the wrong way when people say that, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And
It's not
I
that
hear,
I want to
yeah,
take it
exactly.
away from you, but you already got it, I don't know, 3 times or what?
Yeah, it is world domination. So I think there isn't a case,
Yeah,
and I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, but the US is the biggest market." It's like, yeah, but it's one market. There's a big
yeah.
world out there. Yeah, so yeah, and I think Europe pretty much, I don't know if Europe is a smaller market altogether than the US. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential arguments for that. So, yeah, no one in the US to take offense. It's just that, as Benedict says, you've had your fill. If you get more, that's great, but everyone else is still in the lunch queue with their plates out, like, I haven't eaten in
I'm
six
not gonna
years.
say I'm huge on the US currently, to be honest. So
Oh fuck! Let's not go into
let's end the
politics.
video
Yeah, let's end that. All right, let's get. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, Benedict, don't do
because
this
of
to me.
you.
I'm the one who has to answer the comments half the time, so don't do this to me. All right. All right. Anyway, anything else you want to add to this subject?
Blame
Um,
Howard in the comments.
Blame Howard in the comments.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here quick before anyone takes it in that direction.
Like I said, I think this is cool. I think this has come from her heart. I think this has come from a good place, and I think it is something in the work. Because otherwise, I don't think she would have said that if it wasn't something in the work. But I think it's come from a generally good place. Like, hey, we see your comments, we feel you. We hang in there.
I agree. All right,
I will
let's
give
wrap
my
this
best
one.
to
Oh god!
believe you.
Every time,
Every time, man, I'm trying to end it on a positive.
No. Every time
No, I
Bennett
actually
opens his
see
mouth,
this
I'm
as
like,
a positive,
is it going to be
as a very
politic?
positive.
No, I'm more scared that every time he opens his mouth, he's going to say something political now. So I just get the fuck out before Benedict makes any political statement. No, anyway.
So about abortion. No.
All right, no, fuck that. I'm out.
There's a joke that follows on from what you just said
Don't.
so badly, Neil.
Just
Let's not
don't.
do it. All right, anyway, thank you everyone for watching Ears to the East. Let's get the fuck out of here. Remember to keep your ears to the east or the west. Either side's good. We have no affiliation. East and west, they're both fine, but
Well,
musically,
I will
like
point to
east.
the east. No
Yeah,
comment.
Is the east the left or the right? Let's not talk about that.
That's it. I'm out. See you people.
Okay, I'm gone.